Secrets to learning, techniques for passing your project management exams. So that is what we'll be doing. We're looking at some of the techniques we can use to pass our exams. We're looking at some of the techniques to learn and how learning can be that easy for everybody. Now, who knows about the 10 commandments for passing exams? But what we are saying is we have 10 commandments for passing exams. Or some of the things I taught you, they are in there. One of them is called the law of recall. It says whenever you sit behind a book, you need to be retrieval directed, not input directed. Don't sit behind a book trying to cover more pages. It's not just about covering pages. If you covered 200 pages and you can't remember even 5 of the pages, 5 pages, what have you done? It's not just about input, it's about output. So if you input, you need to think about how would I output this? How would I remember this? So whenever you are learning, your goal should be, how do I remember this tomorrow? How do I remember this in a week's time? How do I remember this in a month's time? How can I still remember this in the exam hall? When you think like that, your mind will start to give you strategies. All right. So if you have the book, go through, and I like number 9. Okay. Number 9. Number 9 is really powerful. Get the book, but I'll tell you number 9, what's in there. Get the other commandments. Number 9, it says solve more past questions. Solve more past questions, or solve more questions, because it's very, very powerful. Now, the other side is this. When you solve more past questions, it builds experience. Some of you suffer from examophobia. Phobia means fear. So fear of exam. Some of you have exam anxiety. But when you solve more past questions, it could take that one away. When you use techniques, it could take that one away. And there are other things I could show you to fight fear as we go. All right, so look for the 10 commandments. I've talked about some of them. We need techniques and we should be motivated. Remember when I said, if you could get this precision, accuracy, degree of exactness, degree of correctness, if you could get this, I'll give you something. Whenever I mentioned a reward, what did that do to your brain? You were agitated. You wanted to get this, isn't it? You wanted to find a way. You got motivated. So sometimes it's motivation. It's motivation. So the problem might not be your mind, and it's not your mind, it's motivation. If you can be motivated enough to look for techniques, you'll be good. So let's stay motivated. There's nothing wrong with this brain. Do you know this brain is super powerful? Did you know this? It has got 100 billion neurons. Neurons are brain cells. 100 billion of them. This can even light up a bulb. Did you know this? Electricity it creates can light up a bulb. That's the power of your brain. Your brain has got infinite storage, no limit. So you can store. If you give you all the information in the world, your brain will still have room for more. That is the power of the brain. And it can remember, but it leaves it in your hand. You control that part. So it's a powerful piece. And I'll tell you something about it, something more about it. It is plastic. It is plastic. Which means it's flexible. Okay? It's flexible. You can mold it any form you want. If you want it to stretch, it can stretch. You want it to become smaller, it can become smaller. If you want it to get bigger, it can get bigger. It's plastic. So what it means is you can rewire your brain. That is why I keep saying nobody is dumb. Nobody is dumb. When I say this, many people find it hard to ponder, but I've looked into the mind, I've read about it, I've done the research. After 83,000 scans, if you listen to the neuroscientists, they will tell you this, you are not stuck with the brain that you have. They did a research, 83,000 scans. They scanned the brain, 83,000 of them. And they realized the brain can't be fixed. It can't be stuck. So you don't have a fixed brain. You have a flexible brain. Let me say this again. You don't have a fixed brain. You have a flexible brain. It can always improve. It can always improve. If you are ready to stretch it, we'll be ready for you. But you need to do the works. And these are some of the things that we are telling you. So please, your brain is powerful. It's plastic. It can be trained. You don't have a bad memory, but all you have is an untrained memory. If you train your brain, it will be good. So behind my book, I said this: you have been handed. God has God has handed you a brain, which is plastic and trainable. It is plastic, flexible, and trainable. So when you train your brain, at any age, it can get stronger. This is not me talking. This is research knocking on your door. At any age, any stage, if you will be willing to train your brain, it will get stronger. So some of us, we say we are old dogs. We are too old. We can't learn new things. We can't learn much. We can't remember things. No. If you do some of these things that I teach you, you remember. Great. Now, let's do more. Here, I wanted to talk about motivation being a major thing in there when you want to remember something. Attention is also super. I'll talk more about attention. And I also wanted to talk about reasons. Yes, remember when I walked into the class, I talked about reasons. I said this, your reason, your why is your score. If it comes to learning, your reasons, your why determines how much you can remember. So this guy wants to score 80 A plus in all the subjects. He has a compelling, strong reason, empowering reason. When that happens, his brain is different. This guy wants to just go 50. Yes. Let the two people sit behind the book. Remember this one, this quote. If you have a strong reason, your mind is strong. If you have a weak reason, your mind is weak. So if you are learning something, if you want to pass my paper, I want to pass other papers, have a strong reason. If you have a strong reason, when you sit behind a book, your mind is super strong. Okay. And let's check our words. I have a bad memory. Don't say that. Your mind will bring you evidence. Check your words. I hate maths. This Saturday, this weekend, we'll be doing calculations. So those of you go like, you hate maths, I hate calculations, please change it. Because when you say you hate calculations, your mind will bring you evidence. Great. So let's change our words. If it's difficult, change it. Don't say it's difficult. I say, if I keep going, I'll get this. If I keep going, I'll get this. Don't say it's difficult. Don't say you don't like maths. Remember, there's a subject you hate, hates you back. So love it. Say I love. Even though it's difficult, say I love procurement. I love stakeholder management. I love cost management. I love end value analysis. I love end value analysis. And your mind will be bringing you evidence. So when you sit behind the book trying to work out these ones, the calculations, your mind will find a way for you. I'm telling you, this is science, not pseudoscience. It's science. And if you do this, you see it. All right, let's do some more. How many hours have you done sitting behind a book without getting up? Because you had a paper to write. There's a paper coming up. Remember the deadline effect. When there's a deadline, your mind is agitated. So you realize you had not done much. Next day, you've got a paper. You sat behind a book. How many hours did you do? Some of you did 3 hours. Some of you did 4 hours. I've seen some people, they did 5 hours constant. They didn't get up. Here's the science part. It's good. You are working hard, but you're not working smart. So you do this. You go 5 hours, and we'll ask you what did you learn? How much can you remember? What is Scope baseline, it was somewhere in the middle. You start scratching your head. You can't remember this. Oh, what is project management plan? What are the components of project management plan? Yeah, it wasn't that. I learned this, but I can't remember. This is what is happening. When you learn for long hours, chances are that you remember just the first part strongly and the last part strongly. In between is likely to be very weak. So the guy will go 4 hours, 3 hours, then remember little. He's working super smart. If you get the book, please read it. You get to know about some of the effect. I won't talk about everything here because we are running with time. But when it comes to learning retention, that's what I'm telling you about. There's something about health, sitting down for that long. I think I told you the other time, it's in the book as well. But when you do this, you remember just the first part and the last part strongly. So the guy learned for 2 hours. He's likely to remember strongly the first 30 minutes and the last 20 minutes very strongly. In between, very vague. So you did some time, but output is not pleasing. You don't like your output. Your input is good, but output is not too good. So please write this one down. It's not just about the number of hours you put in. It's about how much you get from the hours you put in. So whenever you sit down, remember, it's not just about the number of hours I put in. It's not just about sitting down for 6 hours. It's about how much I can remember. So what method can I use? That's what I bring to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a method for you. If you want to go 6 hours, no problems. You can go 6 hours using the method to remember a lot of the things you learn. It's called 30, 7, 7 Gordish learning practice. This is how it goes. If you want to do 2 hours, 3 hours, just read in short cycles. So you sit behind the book. I want everybody to try this and give me the feedback. You just read for 30 minutes. So you set the timer, read for 30 minutes. When the timer rings, don't be in a hurry to wrap up. Just take your time. Last paragraph, wrap up nicely. Then you get up for 3 minutes. Okay, so you get up for 3 minutes because sitting down for that long is not too good for your health. So you get up for 2 minutes, 3 minutes to get more blood to flow to your brain. Then you come back and go over the key points. So what it means, whenever you are learning, you have to be writing. When I come to class, ask me why you need to be writing. There's a power in there, and I'll show you when I come to class. You need to be writing down the key points. So when you write down the key points, you can go over them. So you go over the key points. And you know this, we are interested in the key points. So we remember usually give you guys quizzes. Quizzes, basically, I focus on the key points. And the key points are what the lectures are interested in. So you need to focus on the key points. When you finish, go over the key points for 7 minutes. If you need more time, take it. But this is what will happen. I want you to try this today or tomorrow. This is what will happen. When you are going over the key point, you realize you are getting better understanding of what you read. So your mind is even likely to give you more information. So this is what you see. You tend to be adding more notes to what you read. The mind was thinking about what you fed it with and is giving you more information. We miss it when we don't go over. Because this guy read 6 hours without a break. He never came back to the things he read and he walked into the exam hall. So he didn't understand. And mine had some great ideas. He didn't go back to capture those great ideas. But when you do this, the mind will give you great ideas. So you're likely to understand it better. You're likely to get more information. So you add more to your notes. That's the power of recap. You can also approach it this way. You could close the book and think about what you could remember. You've done 30 minutes. Yes, so what can I remember without looking at what you jotted down? So try to bring it from your memory bank. Remember, I told you what you bring from your memory bank, pool learning is better and stronger than what you just push in. So if you find a way to bring it from your memory bank, it's super powerful. It's super powerful. So you do this and you bring the information, see what you can remember. The ones you can remember, this is what is happening. They are likely to be strong memories in your head. They are likely to be in your memory bank. So they made it to your long-term memory. That's how come you can still remember them. And when you bring them back, they get stronger in there without looking at them because the book is closed. The ones you couldn't remember, chances are that some of them are still hanging in your short-term memory. So when you go over them, you give them energy, they get stronger and you get more understanding and they could swim to long-term memory. Some of them might still need some repetition. Okay. But when you do this, you realize you're understanding it better. It's getting easy. Remember when I started with the Six Sigma, we did this, we talked about 3.4 and defects per million opportunities. When we repeated it, it got stronger. Now it's strong in your head. Remember when you talked about cost of quality, conformance, non-conformance. When we're repeating it, you've learned this. When I repeated it, it got stronger in your head. So repetition is the mother of learning. True. So you go over the key point is super. Then you take a break for 7 minutes. So you rest, you take a break. Give the mind a breather. Okay. I'm bringing this to you early because when you've got few days to go, exam is coming up, you've got few days. Many of you won't find this one attractive, even though it enhances retention, it helps you remember more, but you don't have the time. You want to cover everything. So start early so you can remember a lot in the exam hall. So you can use the right techniques to help you retain information better. Cramming makes the information fragile. It can easily break. So you are likely to forget in the exam hall. So start early, give it time, use the 37-7 method to remember more of the things you learn. So I hope you understand it. You read for 30 minutes. You go over, so when you are reading, write down the key point. When the timer rings, you go over the key points. You could close the book and try to remember, try to recall what you remember from what you read. Then you go over the key point for like 7. If you need more time, take it. Then you take a break for 7 minutes. You get up, get more blood to flow. You could test, you could do some of the things you love, which would be good. Give the brain a break, a breather. Then you come back and continue. So it becomes like a cycle. So he comes again, that's the next cycle, 37-7. Then he goes again, another cycle, 37-7. So you could go all the way 6 hours. And when you do this, here's what could be the benefit apart from retention. It could also help you reduce stress. Reduce stress. You know, some of you, I see you when you guys walk into the exam hall. I look at your face, I see you stressed. You didn't sleep the whole night. You went on and on and on behind your book, no breaks. It will show on your face. And when you are under stress, your brain is not working properly. That's why you may forget a lot of the things you learn in the exam or when you cram. But if you take your time and you learn little, you go over, you rest a little, 7 minutes, that's really rigid. You should demonstrate discipline. Some people, you get up, you don't want to come back. You need to be disciplined to come back and you continue. You go, you take a break, you continue. When you do this, you don't come under stress. You don't come under stress. And you realize why we give you breaks even though we have a long session so you could manage your stress. So that's the 37. So read about it more in the book. There are lots of information in there. So let's look at Rakupuro. So when you have the book, you look at all these ones, an acronym. So I talked about repetition, very, very important. So you need this. You read for 30, you went over the key points, and I'll bring you a perfect way to repeat information that you learned in order to take them to long-term memory. you use what we call rhythms. So you read it 30 minutes, you go over the key points, that's immediate review. When you go over what you read for 30 minutes, maybe you got to page 5. Okay, so that's for 30 minutes. So you put under that page read. If you go over the piece of information, you put under that I. It means it has been read, it has been reviewed. I want you to review that information again tomorrow. So next day, read it again, but you're not reading the whole information. Why? Because the foundation is already created in your head. So what you do is to basically go over the key points. So next day, go over the key points to make it stronger again. It's like you tightening a boat. So you fix the boat, you tighten, and next day you tighten again. Now you go on the road. So next week, and as you move, it's likely to get weaker. So next week, you tighten again. So you go over again the key points. You are good till next month. Even when you don't review, you are likely to still remember. Some of the things I taught you using the strategies, even when you don't review, you view that the next day you're likely to remember. But after some time, you may miss your trigger. So you may want to review that again. So when you read it, after 1 week, you review again. When you review after 1 week, you're likely to remember this. It will stay strong in your head till next month. Next month, review again. It will take like 7 minutes to review this again. When you do that, it is strong in your head till next 3 months. Next 3 months, exam time. So you go through that piece of information for like 7 minutes. And it's natural long-term memory. There's no way you could miss this in the exam hall. You see, so if you start early and you use this method, exam time, if you watch some of my videos, I said exam time is not the time to study. Exam time is the time for you to revise. So some of us, exam time, exam period, exam week is the week for learning, studying. No, if you're a smart student, exam week is the week for revision. Is a week for revision because you keep going through your notes. You read it, you immediately go over, next day you go over, next week you go over again, next month you go over again. If you do this, you could use it for things you find really hard. I'm telling you, there's no way you will miss this in the exam hall. Okay, it's called rhythms. If you go through the book, you get more understanding. Now, association technique is what I've given you. Some of the things we linking it to something. That's association technique. So H, we link the precision, we link E to exactness, accuracy, we link the C to correctness, association. Now, look at McClellan application. So application, it's about autonomy, it's about achievement, affiliation, and power. One, if you ask me to explain McClellan law or theory, I'll attach it to McClellan land application. Oh, land application. So application, my interest is in the AAP, and it'll bring the achievement, affiliation, power. And you write on them, you give it some flesh, and that's it. That's association technique. Let's do more. You are learning definition of quality. We are saying is the degree to which inherent characteristics match requirement. So I say inherent, I see, like I see. What I see should match requirement. That's quality. What I see, and I see is inherent characteristics. So if you present it, we look at the characteristics in the product and we look at the requirement we gave you. If they match, that is basically quality. So degree to which inherent characteristics match requirement. degree of excellence. So you use this one and you get a technical definition of quality. Conformance to specification is also another one. Conformance to requirements is also another one, but this is a technical definition of quality. So you could use the method to help you. Let's explore more. Confirmation effect is when you confirm the information. So some of you have got the book. As you are listening to me, you read it again, you see them again in the book, it gets stronger in your head. Because what your mind sees from a different or hears from a different source, it takes it as a fact. Now let's go to understand. Some of the things we are learning, we can't just use understanding to get them. We are learning analogous estimating or analogous estimating. We could look this one up. What does that mean? So look it up in the dictionary. Analogous. What does it mean? It means comparative. So it's a type of estimate where you compare with past project, records from past project. So you did a project in 2012, then you're doing the you're doing a similar project in 2025. You are working out your cost estimate. You should be able to fall on that project to guide you. That's analogous estimating. Analogous means comparative. So when I understand the meaning of analogous, it becomes easy. Now look at this word, parametric. Meter here. It's like you measuring. So when I use calculation, when I'm measuring, like I'm calculating something, there's a formula that's parametric. Look at this one, affinity grouping. Do you remember this affinity diagram? Do you remember affinity grouping?
Yes,
when you
sir.
finish your brainstorming, you want to organize your data based on what? Similarities. So if you look this one up, affinity, what does that mean? It means resemblance, similar, similarity. So when I'm using the affinity grouping, I am grouping based on similarities. Oh, this part is similar to that part, so we could group them under one umbrella. That's affinity grouping. Simple. Somebody will try to memorize this one blindly, and in the exam when they ask him to explain affinity grouping, then they are found wanting. What is happening? They did not understand this word, the meaning of this word. If they understood this, the definition will come. It means resemblance, similarity. So you group based on similarities, affinity grouping. That's easy. So some of the things, all you need to do is to look it up. Integration management, the guy says, I don't get integration management. Integration, what does that mean? Putting things together. It came from the word integer. Integer means whole. That is why any process you learn under integration management seeks to link all key parts of the project. What are some of the processes you learn under integration? You learn develop project charter. If you look into the charter, it practically talks about every part of the project. You also learn a process called plan project management, develop project management plan, develop project management plan. When you are developing the project management plan, you are looking at every part of the project. That is why it will capture all the subsidiary management plans and also talk about the baselines and the life cycle and development approach, integration. Change management is under integration or change control. Perform integrated change control is under integration management because when you're managing change, you're looking at change from every aspect. Direct and manage project work is under integration management. When you do that, you are doing every part of the work, every part. So this is something you need to understand. If you understand the term, that's easy. Iterative means repeating. Predictive means you can predict. Adaptive means you need to adapt. So things could change. You need to keep adapting, become flexible. So if you understand the word iterative, it means repeat. So we keep repeating till we get it right. That's iterative method. Predictive, we can predict what could happen. Scope is stable, predictive. So once we understand these, it becomes easy. Work package, when you're asking the guy, when you look at the work breakdown structure, at the lowest level, what name do we give him? Then he's struggling to remember. Work package, look at it. Work package. So when I break it down,
Activities.
Get to the lowest level. What do? I do the work here, not here. When I do this, I get this. When I do this, I get this. When I do this, I get this. When all this is done, I get a project. So we do the work here. So this is where the work is parked. Where is the work parked? Not here. It's parked here. So it's called work package, where the work is parked. That is what you do. This is what we turn into activities and perform. So they claim resources. Work package. Where is the work parked? It's parked at the lowest level. Work package. You get this, and that's it. Tacit, explicit. Explicit is easy. It can easily be what? Express. You learned this last week, isn't it? Types of knowledge. Tacit, explicit. Explicit, a type of knowledge that can be easily expressed, coded. It's easy to explain, easy to express. So from the word express, explicit. Okay, it's clear, easy to express. Tacit, from the word I told you the other time, it's a Latin word. It came from a Latin word, tacitum, which means hidden. So you can't touch it, it's hidden. So it's difficult to explain it, it's difficult to express, like your beliefs, insight, difficult to express. That's tacit. So if you understand this, look it up, do something called etymology, dig up the meaning of the word. The book has got all this. Dig up the meaning of the word. I know where it came from. It becomes a link in your brain. So if you want to remember this, your mind will go to that link and bring everything to you, and you give it a good explanation. So sometimes look it up. Lead, lag. You don't need to memorize this. What is lag? Lag is English. It means waiting time. So when I'm doing my network diagram, schedule, managing my schedule, and there's a lag, there's a lead. Lead means advance. So you, instead of starting here, you start early. That's a lead. Lag. Instead of starting here, you wait for like 2 days and you start. That's a lag. Lag of 2 days. He was supposed to start here, finish, start. When it's done, finished here, start here. So it was supposed to be finish, start. So you finish, I start. But I could take a lead. Instead of finishing here, waiting for the whole task to finish, I go early. I lead, take the lead, go early. So I'll start somewhere in the middle. That's a lead. If I understand this, I shouldn't try to memorize this blindly. Trying to explain lead, use examples to support your answer, and the guy is struggling and sweating in the exam hall. Why? Because he did not take his time to understand the meaning of lead, the meaning of lack. If you understand it, learning will be that easy for you. You can also try to see in what you do. Remember, I told you, if you can't see all the things we are teaching you, what you do, then you really don't understand. Do you remember that quote? If you can't see it in what you do, then you really don't understand it. If you can't see project management in what you do, then you don't understand it well enough. Okay, so we need to see them in what we do. And it's in what we do. Everything we are teaching you, you can see in your organization. You can see it in the things you do. Try to teach what you learn simply. We want to explain better conference to somebody who doesn't really understand technical project management. How would you explain this simply to that person? Simply, when we go, there's like question and answer. So sellers will be asking questions and the buyer will be responding to those questions, the things they don't understand. They will answer that. That's basically better conference. You've been able to explain it simply to somebody. This will be strong in your head. And Einstein would tell you, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. Okay? So everything you are reading, iterative, and you can't take your time and explain it simply to somebody, then you don't really understand it. Parametric, if you can't explain it simply to somebody, then you don't really understand it. So try to simplify some of the things you do. And once you're able to do that, it becomes a long-term memory in your head. Now, there's something also in the book called organization technique. It means you're organizing information. Nexus stands for connection, okay? So look for patterns in what you learn. There's always a pattern in what you learn. Look at this number. 14285742887. If I asked you to memorize this, look at this. And write again. 14285714287. Okay. Now watch. Can you see a pattern in there? Super. You're observant. 1428 is being repeated. So all I need to do is to remember the first number, which is 3. Remember the last. Remember this. Your mind, if you could tie the first and the last, you remember this. It will be easy for you. So your mind will remember the first letter 3, the first number 3, the last number 7. There's something separating it. 1428. 1428. Okay, so the separator is 1428. And no, the number that is being repeated is 1428. And 57, that's 7. The 7 will come, 57 is separating it. So now it's been rearranged, organized. 3, repeated number, separator 57, repeated number, last number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've been able to simplify that into 5 numbers. If I could remember the first number, what is being repeated, remember what is separating them, the last number, that's it. I get all the numbers. When you are learning, there are some things that could come in as pattern. There are some things you may have to regroup, rearrange. And when you rearrange, it becomes a pattern in your brain. Let me tell you this, your brain is an organized piece. So everything you are learning is trying to link them, organize in your memory. So when you bring a sensory data, information that is properly organized, it becomes easy for the brain to retain it for you. So you make the work easy for the brain when the information coming in is already organized, well structured. Okay, so please, all the things you learn, organize it. You always see patterns in there, and I'll show you more. Okay, pay attention. I'll show you more patterns in the things that you learn, and we struggle. I remember in class, I talked about some of them. There were some patterns in there. Many of the tools and techniques, you are likely to see expert judgment. Why? Because there's always something you don't know. You would need help. If you're managing a project, you can't know everything. So there's something the team wouldn't know. You need an expert to guide you. The team may not know how to use an MS project to develop network diagrams, to develop schedules. They might need help. The team might not have understanding about technical things when it comes to contract. They might need the help of a lawyer. Expert judgment. The team might not know how to do the network diagram, the end value analysis, expert judgment. So this runs through. So that's from observation, pattern. What can you say about PC, project charter, when it comes to input?
Yes,
I call it a planning queue. Okay, so PC has become planning queue, P for planning queue. So the project charter is a planning queue. If you pay attention, you realize that the initial planning processes will always feed on the project charter as an input. So the initial planning process, you are likely to see the project charter as an input. For example, if I ask you to give me an input for scope management process, project charter, super, correct? Because the project charter starts the work and it touches every part of the project. So I want to understand the scope part of the project. I could feed on the project charter for information. So that's a planning queue. It could help us plan the work. So that becomes an input to many of the planning processes. So if I asked you to give me output for estimating activity durations, then you are scratching your head. No, there's a pattern. Once it's an estimate process, I'll definitely get time estimate and I'll get basis of estimate. If I ask you to give me output of estimating cost, okay, that should be easy. Cost estimate, basis of estimate. Do you get it? And there's another one, you estimate resource quantity. So quantities, the resource, you need to estimate them. And you also have the resources and you have the base of estimate. Okay, so there's a pattern running through. So you need to observe. Data analysis is a tool and technique. Where would you see them more? If you pay attention, you realize you see them more under management plans, processes, and controlling process. Okay.
Oh,
Are we following?
Yes, please.
So I'm trying to bring these ones out for you to know that if you pay attention to your notes, to the things we teach you, it shouldn't be difficult because there are patterns in there. There are techniques you can use to remember the things you learn. Requirements documentation, requirements traceability matrix, they work together. So if you see an input requirements documentation, you are likely to see requirements traceability matrix. If you see an output as requirement documentation, you're likely to see requirements traceability matrix. Okay, exercise time. How would you create an acronym for this? Steps, we're asking you, steps for developing budget. What are the steps you go through to develop a budget? You say break the work down, estimate the cost, aggregate cost, build contingency, get approval. Create an acronym to help you do this. So you use the letters. First letter is what? B. Next letter is E. Next letter is A. But the main things in there, next letter is B. But this build won't help anything. The thing I need is contingency, isn't it? So I'll pick C. Next one is G, but I need approval. So I'll pick A. What do I have now? Beaker. Beaker, what comes to mind? Although cat budget. B, the cat. Beaker, play with it. When you play with it, it becomes a long-term memory. Beaker, yeah, I want to remember cat budget, cat. Beaker. So Beaker, break it down, estimate, aggregate, contingency, approval. Beaker. So they ask you to develop the steps, give us the steps, explain briefly. Oh, your mind goes to Beaker. I need to break down the work. You give examples. I need to estimate my cost. I need to aggregate the cost. I need to build contingency and get approval. When you remember approval, the build get approval will come. When you remember contingency, the build contingency will come. Or you may not necessarily say build contingency. You could use your own words. But once you have contingency, it's correct. You have approval, we'll mark you. When you have the aggregate, the cost, estimate, break it down, you get it. Beaker. Beaker. Now, what are the components of the project management plan? It's got all the subsidiary management plan, scope management plan, risk management plan, communications management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan. You've got all these subsidiary management plans in there. It also has what? The baseline. You could have questions on this. Also have what? Development approach, DA. And the life cycle. Okay. Now, how do I remember this? I'll look at PMP. I could see these. I'll try and see these ones in there. Okay, the MP will be my management plans. So the MP, okay. So PMP, project management plan. The MP will be my management plans. So management plan sorted out. The P, okay. Let me make it like B. The P, make it like B. So that will be my baselines. Okay, let me try and create D out of it. That will be my development approach. So this has become B and D and P. If you doodle, if you do this on paper, in the exam hall, your mind will bring you to what you did. Because I keep saying this, your mind is always standing next to you when you are learning. And based on how you learn, it signal the brain. What does that mean? It means the mind is not the brain. We'll talk about it later. The mind is not the brain is not the mind, but the two work together. Okay? So when you are learning, the mind is standing next to you. And how you learn it is how it will feed the brain. So if you are learning this way, the mind is watching and will ask the brain to record this. So for you to remember this, project management plan, the mind says, don't forget, we doodled, we sketched this, PMP. The MP is for the management plans, all the management plan, we list them. The P, we had B out of the P, that's the baseline, and we had D out of it, that's the development approach. Oh, okay, you have it. You need to remember this. You are likely to have questions on this. ROM, and we are asking you to explain it, giving us the level of accuracy. You need to know the numbers, but you watch it. Can you see a pattern in this? So this pattern is being reduced. So, and this is going there. So this goes there. This is being reduced, 10. 10 is reduced by 5. So you have 5. So you have this as the ROM, this as your budget estimate, this as your definitive. So when you do this and you see the pattern in your mind's eye and you doodle it, you sketch it, there's no way you miss it. It might not come to you readily, but as soon as you put a pen down and you start to link it, the brain will go to that trigger and it will bring you all the information. So there's a session in there. What is the level of accuracy? There's a question, level of accuracy for ROM. Your brain will bring you this trigger. Remember, minus 25 plus 75. You could doodle this, write this one, sketch it down, and all the information will come to you. So watch out for patterns. Can you see a pattern here? Look at this. This is what we do. Variance. Look at the calculation. Cost variance is EV minus AC. Those of you who have actually watched the video, you should be familiar with this. Schedule variance, it talks about how you are faring in terms of time and cost. So schedule variance in terms of time. Schedule variance, EV minus PV. Cost performance index, EV over AC. Schedule performance index, EV over PV. Watch carefully. What pattern do you see here? To help you memorize this. I like that bit. It's always the EV. So whenever I'm thinking about the formula, it's always about the EV. So cost variance, CV. Oh, I know it's always about the EV. So EV first, EV first. Oh, cost minus actual cost. Why? Because variance means different. Those of you who have watched the video, I talked about it. Variance means what? Different. We are taking the difference between EV and actual cost. So the C is for actual cost. The other one is schedule variance. I know about EV, AC, I know about PV. Okay, it's always the EV first. So EV, I've done the AC, so the next one will be what? PV. Schedule variance, EV first minus PV. Now watch. For my CPI, if I know this, what can you observe here? This is EV minus AC. This is EV minus AC. This is CPI is EV over what? AC. I like that part. It's the same thing, but this one is variance minus. This is a ratio, so it'll be division. So just change the minus to division. That's it. It's the same thing. So when I know this, I don't need to struggle with this and that. I see people, they could get answers for this and get this wrong. I give them numbers, work out your cost variance, they get it right. Work out the cost performance index, they get it wrong. They didn't use a strategy. There's a pattern in there. This is EV minus AC. For the ratio CPI, it will be EV. The minus will go division AC. That's it. So if I gave you EV as 100, EV is 100, AC is 120. Ask you to work out cost variance and CPI. It should be easy. It should be easy for you. So this one will be EV minus 100 minus 120. The other one will be 100 over 120. That's it. So when you know the first one, the others should be easy for you because you've learned a pattern. This is connected to this. This is connected to this, and it all be connected in your brain. So as soon as this is remembered, this will be remembered because you learned it intentionally. If you didn't connect it, the brain can't connect it for you. It looks at your intentions. So once you've done this, spotted this, it has become a memory in your head. As soon as you remember this, the brain knows this is also connected. It has to bring information tied to this. Okay. Firm fixed price. Somebody's trying to remember this. Too firm for sellers. Now, do you remember we talked about the one that is not too good for the customer and the one that's not too good for the seller? Do you remember? So we said which one holds the highest risk? I don't know if you did it. Which one holds the highest risk so far as the seller is concerned? And which one holds the highest risk so far as the customer is concerned? Looking at the types of contract. And we said that the firm fixed price holds the highest risk for the sellers. So you could say, too firm fixed price. This is too rigid, too firm for sellers. So highest risk for sellers. This one, you say CPP cool, not too good for customers. So you could say, the CPP cool. So that comes to cost plus percentage of cost, CPPC. Oh, the CPP cool wasn't too good for customers. So the C is customers. So you tie it. C here for customers, CPP customers. So this is worse for customers. C is customer, worse for them. You could have questions on that. Which one is worst or carries the highest risk for customers is the CPP. And you know about that. I don't need to teach you. You already know. Okay. Time and material is based on time or the item, isn't it? Easy. Based on the time or the item. Fixed price, easy. The price is fixed. Cost reimbursable. You look at this word, the definition reimbursable means to pay back. So what you put in will be paid back to you. Easy. When I learn this, I don't need to memorize it. I don't need to struggle with this. Listen to the name, and that's it. There's the last bit, and we are done. Look at this. The 12 steps in procurement. Okay, you may have a question on this. So let's assume you had a question. Could you could you go through, outline the typical steps in procurement for 20 marks? The guy says, shh, yeah, learn this. Yay. Then he will miss this. He will put conduct technical evaluation up here. He will put submit proposals down there. Then he will mess them up. Instead of scoring 20, he will have about 10. But he could have used a formula to help me organize this one because we said steps. If you miss a step, you have a problem. Steps. So it has to be that. It has to be in that sequence. But without a strategy, it will be a little bit tough. How do I remember all these 12? All these 12 phrases. Very difficult. So what do I do? Okay, let me remember. If it's difficult, I need to remember my techniques. I'll use acronym. Okay, so I gave you an acronym. You look at this one. So, what is so? What does so mean? For the statement of work. So I need to sow a seed first. What's the first thing you do when you're planting? You sow a seed. When it grows, what will be the last thing? You reap. You sow the seed. When everything is mature, you reap or receive the fruit. So you've memorized the first and the last. Now let's work out an acronym. There's an acronym I bring to you. It's called, it goes like Seas Breeze Car. So you have a car, the make or the model is Seas Breeze. So what's the name of your car? Seas Breeze. So like sea, look at the sea. And there's breeze there. And that's could be used for your car. Make it come out with something. It may not have to be um, wise or sensible. Just come with anything. It doesn't matter. So seas breeze. I go to the sea. I see some breeze. I feel some breeze, and I use a breeze to create a car. It shouldn't make sense, but it's helping you to remember. Seas breeze car. Okay. What car are you going to procure? Seas breeze car. Breeze car. Now I need to sow the seed, then receive my fruit. So first and last, done. Okay. Now, if you look at this, the next one, there's estimate in it. Okay. So CS here, prepare a high level cost estimate. I use the E, estimate, to prepare my estimate. Then the A, I go with advertise. Because when you need to have a fair idea of how much it will cost. When you have a fair idea, you need to know exactly what you look for. So that's a statement of work. Then you will advertise. You need people to respond. So you need people who can do it. So you need to advertise to find these people. When you advertise, you shortlist the qualified sellers. So people respond, then you shortlist. So S, shortlist. Then when you shortlist, you need to prepare your bid documents, B. Because when these people, you know them, they will have to pick up the bid documents. Those of you working in the government institutions, you know about this. So they will come up and pick up the bid document. Sometimes you need to buy it. So the shortlisted sellers will prepare the bid for them to come and buy. So when we prepare the bid, what will happen? They will respond to the bid. They pick the bid up, they respond. So it says prepare and submit proposals by sellers. So they are responding. They picked up the bid document, they respond. Then there's evaluation. But evaluation, we are doing two types. We have TC. So this is T, technical, and the other one is commercial. Remember I told you, you need to go through the technical first. Okay? So your first E is technical. Evaluate, so conduct technical evaluation. The next one is what? Conduct cost evaluation or commercial evaluation. Okay? So this will be, just do this. As you're doing this, you are forming strong memory. This will be T. This is C. So evaluate technical proposals. Evaluate commercial proposal. Okay. Then you have, this is gone. Then you have this part where you select the winning proposal. So make your selection. Select your vendor. Okay, that would be S. Select your vendor. Then we have this one, the car bid. The car, when we select the vendor, what will happen? We issue a contract. Are we not going to issue a contract? We give him a contract. So that will be the car. When a contract is issued, we administer. That's what we term as conduct procurement. So we administer. And the last one already memorized, we receive the product and make our payment. So that becomes Seas Breeze. You could also do it backwards. And if you could do it backwards, it will become stronger in your head. Okay? Before you receive, what will happen? You administer. Before you administer, there is a contract. Before contract, there's a seller, selected seller. Before the selected seller, there was evaluation. The cost, before the cost, there was evaluation of the technical. Before the evaluation, there were responses. Before response, there were bids. Before bids, there were shortlisting of the sellers. Before shortlisting, there was advertising. Before advertising, there was estimate. Before estimate, there was statement of work. You've walked through backwards. So it's like you doing the forward pass and backward pass. If you do this, it becomes a long-term memory in your head. There's no way you miss this in the exam hall. For 20 marks, if you ask you to do this, remember Seas Breeze, and you go through this. You don't necessarily have to write exactly this, but the key points in there should come out for your mind. Things you can also do to improve your mind. I call it headless. It's an acronym. So if you go through the book, you see these ones. One of them is hydration. drinking a lot of water. The other one is sleep. So go through and get the rest. If you have the book, you see these ones in